Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to 168 Hours, your weekly roundup of the top local stories. I'm Abdullah Ahil, your host for the evening. Stay tuned. President Dr. Mohammad Muiz says that more than 64,735,770 US dollars has been dispersed in student loans during his administration over the past 2 years. The president made the statement in a message shared on social media to mark the International Day of Education.
In his post, President Dr. Mohammad Muiz said, "Education is the cornerstone of sustainable development and global progress." President Muiz emphasized the importance of inclusivity in education, reaffirming his administration's commitment to youth participation and empowerment, which he described as a key pledge of his leadership. Noting that education is one of the main pillars of national development, the president said that government is undertaking multiple initiatives to support students pursuing higher education. He stated that more than 6,000 students have graduated under the free degree program over the past 2 years. The president said that investing in students and expanding access to education not only benefits individuals but also contributes to building a prosperous, equitable, and resilient nation. He reaffirmed that opportunities will be provided to all those wishing to pursue further studies, strengthening national unity and progress. Statistics indicate that state funding for higher education continues to increase. Data released by the Ministry of Higher Education shows that 596 students were provided student loans in 2025 alone, while a total of 1,438 students received loans over the past 2 years. In addition, 2,798 students are currently receiving financial support under the government's free degree program. In 2025, 3,286 students graduated through the scheme, while 5,863 students registered over the past 2 years are continuing their studies.
Vice President Hossein Mohammad Latif says that sports competitions held across the country play a vital role in strengthening the Maldives' social fabric.
Vice President made the remarks while officiating the final match of the men's division of the BFANU 2026 volleyball tournament held in Fiori, Garfudalu Atoll. Vice President was speaking at the final match of the tournament, which was jointly organized by the Fiori Island Council and the Fiori Association for Community Empowerment, FACE. Addressing the gathering, Vice President said such tournaments bring multiple benefits to communities. Referring specifically to the BFANU tournament, the Vice President said sporting events help address minor disagreements and dissatisfaction that may arise within island communities. The Vice President also noted that sports improve relationships between individuals, adding that teams from islands near Fiori also participated in the tournament. The final match was played between Rathafandu Sports Club and Dadimagu Sports and Recreation Club, a team from Formula City. Ahead of the match, Vice President was presented with a plaque by FACE in recognition of his support and cooperation with the association. The Dadimagu Sports and Recreation Club emerged as the champion team of the BFAN 2026 volleyball tournament. Vice President presented medals and trophies to the winning team along with awards for the highest points scorer, the most valuable player of the tournament, and the king of BFAN.
President Dr. Mohammad Muiz says that the country and its people need elected representatives who support development and work alongside the government.
The president made the remarks while addressing a special campaign event organized by the ruling People's National Congress, PNC. In his address, President Muiz said work is progressing rapidly to fulfill the pledges he has made to the public. He said islands and cities therefore require mayors and councillors who will support development efforts rather than interfere with them. The president said that interference in the implementation of government pledges would delay development. He added that such actions could lead to political unrest, which he said is not something any citizen wishes to see. The president said he has visited the homes of citizens in various capacities and has a close understanding of the living conditions faced by the public. He said the government is therefore working hard to address the most pressing issues faced by the people. He also referred to the previous government's approach to fulfilling its pledges, including land allocation projects that involved reclaiming land before distribution. President Muizu concluded by stating that such development projects require sincere, honest and trustworthy mayors, councillors and members of women's development committees, urging the public to elect representatives who can support the government's development agenda.
The British Parliament temporarily suspends debate on a bill proposing the handover of the Chagos archipelago to Mauritius following growing diplomatic tensions and legal concerns.
The legislation, which was introduced by the UK government and sent to the House of Lords, outlined a plan to transfer sovereignty of the islands, except for Diego Garcia, to Mauritius, while leasing back Diego Garcia for 99 years at GBP 101 million annually to maintain the joint UK-US military base established under a 1966 treaty. However, Conservative members in the upper house called for a pause last Friday, citing shifting international dynamics and potential violations of the existing treaties and international law. The government has since withdrawn the bill from immediate consideration. The move has drawn reactions from regional players, notably the Maldives, whose President Dr. Mohamed Muiz has asserted a historical and geographical claim to the archipelago, arguing that Chagos, known locally as Folawahi, has stronger ties to the Maldives than the Mauritius. President Muiz emphasized that the Maldives, inhabited to nearly 4,000 years, predates Mauritian settlement by millennia and has formally communicated its position to British authorities. Maldives' former president Mohamed Nasheed echoed these sentiments on social media, maintaining that Maldives' case remains viable. The decision to adjourn the debate casts uncertainty over the future of the Chagos, despite the 2019 International Court of Justice advisory opinion supporting its return to Mauritius after decades of British administration.
Minister of Housing, Construction and Infrastructure Dr. Abdullah Muttalib reiterates that housing schemes are not meant to be a resource for an individual's personal enrichment.
Housing Minister made the statement on a social media post addressing concerns from citizens regarding the government's housing schemes. The minister said that the government's housing initiatives are geared towards families that lack essential housing and are designed to ensure stability and dignity for them. Public housing must stabilize households, not accumulate assets, the minister said. Highlighting the government's Aile Bohiawahigang housing initiative, the minister said that those with nothing must be prioritized before those with something. He stressed that it is not a moral judgment, but rather an imperative taken to prevent the deepest foe of housing insecurity first. The minister further explained that public housing must prioritize households where instability has the widest social impact and not individuals, and as such, housing needs will be measured as such. If one family member holds a housing unit, then priority must be given to those families where no individuals holds a housing unit, he emphasized, stating that it is vital to reduce social inequality. Looking ahead, the minister revealed that as the government delivers social housing units, land plots, affordable ownership schemes and private sector housing, pressure on public housing will be reduced. At this point, the existing guidelines can be relaxed with the expansion of the eligibility criteria and more opportunities can be created. The government has officially rolled out its Landmark Housing for All scheme, opening applications for 15,000 land plots and 7,900 flats in the Greater Male region.
The National Disaster Management Authority, or NDMA, has launched the Damage Assessment and Loss Analysis, or DALA portal, marking a major step towards digitizing disaster damage reporting and statistical management in the Maldives. The launch ceremony was graced by Minister of Homeland Security and Technology, Ali Hossan, and was attended by Minister of Defense, Ghassan Mamoun.
Developed under a United Nations Development Programme UNDP funding window, the DALA portal was created with assistance from Denmark, Luxembourg and South Korea. The platform aims to digitize NDMA operations and improve the collection and management of disaster-related information. The portal transforms the previously manual disaster management assessment process into a secure, integral digital system. It enables disaster information to be submitted online to relevant authorities and allows damage calculations and compensation processes to be completed through a single platform. Speaking after launching the portal at Hotel Jen, Minister Ali Hussain said the initiative aligns with President Dr. Mohamed Muizzu's Maldives 2.0 vision. He said that for a country like the Maldives, improving awareness and access to real-time information during emergencies is critical. He added that the national system now incorporates strong data collection and research capabilities, allowing the country to prepare for disasters rather than respond reactively. Speaking to the media following the ceremony, NDMA Chief Executive Hisan Hassan said the introduction of the Dala portal will fully digitize the authority's operations. He said the system will streamline the process of collecting disaster-related information and dispersing compensation, enabling affected individuals, local councils and relevant agencies to access all information from a single platform. He added that the system is expected to enhance public confidence in NDMA's work, noting that preparations to provide access to communities and collect data from islands have been completed. NDMA also confirmed that historical disaster data from the past 5 years has already been entered into the portal.
The new academic year commences following a month-long school break, marking the first time in several years that the academic year has commenced in January.
More than 77,000 students have been enrolled across 218 government schools nationwide. As in previous years, a significant number of students have been admitted to Grade 1. A total of 4,790 students were admitted to Grade 1 this year. Of these, 1,748 students were admitted to schools in Male area, while 3,042 students were admitted to Grade 1 in schools across atolls. This year, 1,530 students requested transfers from atolls to schools in Male area. In addition, 836 students transferred from Male to schools in Hurumale. A total of 10,500 teachers have been deployed in government schools at the start of the academic year. This includes 8,000 local teachers and 2,500 foreign teachers. A new permanent school has also been opened in Hurumale Phase 2. The school has enrolled more than 1,900 students across grades 1 to higher levels and will be staffed by 230 teachers. Ministry of Education began preparations for the academic year in advance. Distribution of textbooks to schools commenced in December last year. In addition, recruitment of teachers was carried out alongside extensive work on school infrastructure development, including renovation projects. According to this year's academic calendar, schools will close for students after the first week of Ramadan and will resume on 23rd March following Eid holidays. The first term will conclude from 14th July, while the second term will begin on 2nd August. Students will have a major holiday from 18th December to 12th January 2027.
The new United Nations Office on Drug and Crime, or UNODC, regional representative for South Asia, Kristen Holge, formally presents his letter of appointment to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Dr. Abdullah Khalil. The ceremony, held at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, marks the beginning of Holge's tenure and underscores the continued importance of the partnership between the Maldives and the UN agency. Following the presentation, the two officials held a substantive meeting focused on shared security priorities. The minister specifically reflected on UNODC's critical role in assisting the nation to combat transnational organized crime, counter terrorism, and prevent violent extremism. Reiterating the Maldives government's firm commitment, Minister Khalil emphasized a desire to work closely with the UNODC to advance key initiatives, including preventative approaches, capacity building for national institutions, and the implementation of evidence-based policies aimed at fostering sustainable peace, security, and development. In response, Regional Representative Holge reaffirmed UNODC's strong partnership with the Maldives and expressed his office's full readiness to further support the country's national priorities. He outlined the scope of UNODC's ongoing and future programs designed to address these complex challenges. Holge also emphasized the indispensable value of regional cooperation, highlighting how collaborative efforts across South Asia are crucial for effectively tackling the shared interconnected threats of crime and extremism. The meeting concluded with a mutual understanding to deepen this strategic collaboration for the greater security and stability of the Maldives and the wider region. President Dr. Mohammad Muiz reestablishes the types of economic activities permitted in the Maldives Special Economic Zones or SEZs and the minimum investment thresholds required stated under a presidential decree.
The changes were announced through Presidential Decree No. 1/2026 as per the Special Economic Zones Act, which requires the government to annually review and publish the scope of activities allowed in SEZs following suggestions from the Board of Investments. Under the amended framework, strategic investments in SEZs must have a required minimum value of $100 million, while sustainable township development projects must consist of investments of at least $500 million. The decree specifically states that the full $500 million must be allocated directly to sustainable township development specifications. 9 categories of economic activity have been approved under the $100 million threshold. These include export-focused manufacturing, transshipment ports and international logistics services, ports, airports, bunkering and docking facilities, universities, tertiary and especially hospitals, and world-class research and development centers. The decree also allows for investments in information and communication technology parks, international financial services and trade centers, renewable energy projects, food security initiatives, and activities introducing technologies not currently available in the Maldives. Gas, oil, and mineral exploration activities are also included. Presidential Decree No. 1/2026 follows a review of the previous year's decree and has been published in the Government Gazette as required by the law. The move is part of the government's broader effort to bring forth large-scale foreign investment and position SEZs as centers for strategic and high-value economic activity.
Bank of Maldives, or BML Affordable Home Leasing Company Private Limited, has officially commenced construction of its 5 affordable housing projects.
The launch was marked at a ceremony held in Hurumale on 27 January, signaling a major milestone in the implementation of the Maldives Monetary Authority's MMA Inclusive National Affordable Housing Scheme INAH. The ceremony was attended by the Ministry of Construction, Housing and Infrastructure, Dr. Abdullah Muttalib, BML Chairperson Ahmad Ali Habib, and BML Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director Muhammad Sharif. The completion of these projects will see the delivery of 3,260 affordable housing in Hurumale Phase 1, Phase 3 and Vilimale to be dispersed on a lease-to-own basis, playing a key role in addressing the country's housing demand. Through the commencement of these 5 projects, the BML and BML Affordable Home Leasing Company reaffirmed their commitment to supporting national housing priorities, strengthening local industry participation and expanding access to affordable home ownership in line with the MMA's vision of a more inclusive and resilient financial system. Speaking on the projects, Minister Muttalib said BML's efforts to ensure the success of the government's housing policy are exemplary. While the projects are expected to reach completion by July 2028, the minister said the project will become the first housing project to be initiated, completed and handed over within a single presidential term. The minister further said the project is an important step in seeking creative and innovative solutions to the housing crisis even in the midst of economic difficulty. According to BML's CEO Sharif, the projects are being implemented by both local and international contractors selected through a rigorous evaluation process aligned with the governance, risk and compliance standards set under INAH. The projects were awarded to local contractors Amin Construction Pvt Ltd, FW Construction Pvt Ltd and Rashid Carpentry Construction Pvt Ltd, as well as International Construction, Beijing Urban Construction Group and China Machinery Engineering Corporation. Sharif said the government's national housing affordability and accessibility policy has paved the way for supporting the construction and housing sectors in the Maldives. He said the bank has already given high priority to the housing sector, with outstanding loan disbursement to the construction and housing sector reaching $350 million by the end of last year. He noted a total of $136 million was disbursed last year alone to local companies and individuals.
President Dr. Mohammad Muiz lays the foundation for the Ayala Sustainable Township project.
The Ayala Sustainable Township is the first major development project to be implemented under the Special Economic Zone (SEZ) framework in the Maldives. The government officially handed over the project permit on 11 December last year. The project is being developed in the areas of Digu Faru, Dekunufaru and Kuramadu and is being undertaken by Crystal Holdings Private Limited with a total investment of $790 million. Reclamation works for the project commenced in March last year and were completed by December. Key features of the Ayala Sustainable Township include generating 60% of its electricity from renewable energy sources. The development will also include a world-class health center and an international standard tourism school. In addition, the project will establish a co-aquaculture and mariculture zone equipped with modern technology aimed at ensuring sustainable local production of food items that are currently imported. The Sustainable Township is expected to become operational by the end of 2028. Once completed, the project is expected to be unique within the Indian Ocean region and serve as a global model for sustainable development. The government said the project will represent a new phase of foreign investment in the Maldives, providing comprehensive access to essential services for its residents, workers, and their families. The project is also expected to create employment opportunities, establish public services, facilitate education and training, and contribute significantly to sustainable economic growth across the country.
Minister of Fisheries and Ocean Resources Ahmad Shyam stresses that government projects will proceed after ensuring environmental considerations are fully assessed.
Minister of Fisheries and Ocean Resources Ahmad Shyam stresses that government projects will proceed after ensuring environmental considerations are fully assessed. The minister's comments follow recent concerns about the government's decision to include oil and mineral exploration activities in its special economic zones (SEZs). The minister highlighted the fragile ecosystem surrounding the country and said that development projects will be carried out with these factors considered and given the utmost priority and with considerable caution. The minister stressed every exploration or development initiative will have to go through rigorous, transparent environmental impact assessments with no compromises on biodiversity or long-term sustainability. The minister noted each action taken by the government will have the utmost consideration towards the nation's best interest and that the idea behind each undertaking will always to partner with reputable and capable investors. Minister Shyam further revealed that President Dr. Mohammad Muiz's strategic plan to diversify the economy beyond tourism and fisheries reflects a visionary and pragmatic step towards long-term resilience. Maldives possesses one of the largest exclusive economic zones with around 900,000 square kilometers. Minister Shyam referred to this fact and said that as of yet the nation has just tapped to the surface of this vast resource through primarily tuna fisheries. He affirmed through considerate exploration, the vast marine resources could be tapped to explore new, sustainable economic avenues. President Dr. Mohammad Muiz's initiative is a step towards self-sufficiency, Minister Shyam stated. The minister hopes that this step would make Maldives a pioneering nation that has truly formulated a blue economy that sets an example to the rest of the world. The minister also highlighted some of the multiplier effects of this initiative, including job creation. He pointed out that such an endeavor would open specialized job opportunities in the field of marine geology, subsea engineering, environmental science, and monitoring. President Dr. Mohammad Muiz has re-established the types of economic activities permitted in the Maldives' Special Economic Zones (SEZs) and the minimum investment thresholds required through a presidential decree. Under the amended framework, strategic investments in SEZs must have a required minimum value of $100 million. 9 categories of economic activity have been approved under the $100 million threshold, including gas, oil, and mineral exploration activities.
President Dr. Mohamed Muiz announces land reclamation work has officially commenced in Giravarufalu. He made the announcement in a social media post stating the work began on the morning today.
The reclamation project is being carried out using the trailing suction hopper dredger Orangia, one of the largest dredgers brought to the Maldives. The vessel has the capacity to carry up to 22,000 cubic meters of sand at a time. While reclamation work has now begun at Giravarufalu, President Dr. Mohamed Muiz earlier stated that the project is expected to be the first reclamation initiative in the Greater Malé area to be completed next. According to the Environmental Impact Assessment EIA report released on 22nd January, a total of 169 hectares of land will be reclaimed under the project. To date, 56 hectares have already been reclaimed, with a further 113 hectares yet to be completed. The report states that 12 hectares were reclaimed during the first phase of the project, followed by 18 hectares in the second phase and 26 hectares in the third phase. The EIA report further notes that reclamation will next be carried out in deeper areas. A new land use plan has also been developed for Giravarufalu. Following the revision of the land use plan, a redraw will be conducted among land recipients. Under the revised plan, a total of 4,072 plots of 4 different sizes will be allocated. These include 2,603 plots of 1,250 acres, 1,214 plots of 1,650 acres, and 254 plots of 2,050 acres, and 1 plot measuring 2,450 acres. The Giravarufalu reclamation project is aimed at addressing the housing challenges faced by recipients of the capital. The government has stated that efforts are underway to complete the project as soon as possible and provide housing opportunities to the maximum number of people. In addition to Giravarufalu, reclamation works are also ongoing in the Malé area and in several parts of the atolls. Authorities have confirmed that the third phase of the Hulmale reclamation project has been completed, while reclamation activities continue at a rapid pace in other locations.
And that's all the news we have for this week's 168 Hours. We will bring you with any further updates next week.